Hey, this is Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com. I'm going through the banned debt collectors list because a lot of people were asking about trying to find their specific debt collection company that's coming after them. And these companies, they kind of mask themselves with a whole bunch of different names. But this was one in 2019 that people could still have money that's supposed to come to them if they dealt with them. This was a Georgia-based debt collection company, and they're banned from doing debt collection. And they had an order imposed of $3.4 million was the judgment. I'm not sure how much money was put in, but
Returning visitor.
this is the list of the companies. So, and it says 2018, but it was just resolved in 2019. So these were the companies here: Advanced Mediation Group, Apex. I remember collection stuff from Apex. This is one. They were out of Georgia. Mirage Distribution LLC and Mitchell and Maxwell LLC. So if you had any debt collections from those, you need to be aware that you can contact FTC and try to see if you have any claim to any funds that were dispersed. Here's a hotline that they had set up. Here was another one here. This was a California-based company. This was actual 2016. But the things that I want you to be aware of is if you have some
New visitor.
sitting on your credit from these companies, you can also get that information removed. So you got BAM Financial, you have West and Associates and Chelsea and Associates, Everett Financial and West Associates and Financial Consulting LLC, West and Associates Services, and these were the individuals' names. So even though this one was a little bit back, you could have debt collections that are sitting on your reports, because I'm pretty sure when
New visitor.
they put these companies, debt collectors out of business, that they didn't go back and make any modifications to the information on the credit reports. Here's one with Crown Asset Management. Looks like they got asset and capital management here, but this was Crown, excuse me, Crown Funding, and this one was back in 2014. But let's see, when did they resolve it on here? And I think we talked a little bit about this, but these are some of the different. Here we go. Crown Funding Company, Green. What is that? Let me move this over. Green Fidelity, Allegiance. I remember that one. I remember, let's see here, West Capital Group, Credit MP. So you can see all of these different names that they had these companies under.
New visitor.
Uh, they got over $4 million that was sent back, but a lot of you that probably had some debt collections with Crown Funding, because they were really big with buying old, outdated debt, and you may not have known about this unless you were contacted. But even though it's been over a certain period of time, if they have that information on your credit reports, you need to make sure that it's removed. And also, you can contact FTC just to see if there's any funds that are still available. And basically, what I'm doing is, and I'm going to put the link back there. I'm just going down the list because a lot of YouTube, I got a lot of messages where people were asking me questions about what was done with particular companies and if their company was on the list. And so I'm just kind of going through here, combing through it again, going a little bit slower, looking for companies that I know that we had some dealings with. This one here, this Pinnacle, I remember that one. And look at all of the different liability companies. Like you have the plaintiff, which is the FTC, and then you have all of these different limited liability companies that they set up. So you got Pinnacle Payments, which I remember that one, Velocity Payments. I remember that one. And then they had set up in Georgia, some companies in Ohio, Premium Express, not familiar with that one. I remember Rapid Solution sounds familiar. Uh, Nationwide Payment Processor sound familiar. Global Acceptance sounds familiar. But you can see these. So you can see these. If you have any of these companies that have information on your credit reports, you need to make sure that you get this stuff removed. A lot of people didn't know about these, uh, lawsuits that were going down. I didn't even know about some of them. So let's go back, look at some other ones here. And they also have the individuals. So, the individuals cannot set up another company and try to go into it. Here's one, Stark Law. I'm pretty sure these were the same, but let's just see Stark Recovery. So you can see these were all the different companies. They were in looks like they were in Illinois. Yeah, Illinois. At their findings on theirs, they were, let's see here, collection, placement, sale, distribution of debt. Let's see here. Look like basically what they were doing is just bad debt collection practices. Let's go United. United was one I remember seeing. United Global Group. This one was they finished in 2017. Permanent injunction from doing any debt collection. They're banned. So that one there is, you can see what happened with that one. Let's see here. I think I combed through most of the ones that I was mostly familiar with, um, that I know that people had a lot of dealings with. And I'm going to put the link to here so you can comb through them yourself. Take your time. You might be able to have funds that are coming to you. There was one that was more recent, September 2021, so not too long ago. Um, FTC sends refund checks to people harmed by abusive debt collector. It says over 603 people were paid money that they didn't owe. Um, Here's a number here. The name of the company was Campbell Capital Refund. Okay, so Campbell Capital Refunds. That was what the refunds form. So it was Campbell Capital LLC. Looks like they were mostly working out of New York. So they were dealing with debt that people did not have to pay, which is
Returning visitor.
which is something that still goes on to this day, that people are unaware of debts that they shouldn't have to pay. That they call it time barred, or it's past the statute of limitations. And let's get to the list. I want to show you the list of debt that's being released on the market so you can be aware of it. All right, here goes some of the portfolios that are being released, and a lot of this debt is past the legal statute of limitations to collect, but a lot of debt collectors will take a chance on it because they don't believe that most people will know their rights. They're going to put a lot of people under pressure. They're going to say things to them. They're going to scare people, uh, especially when people have fixed their credit. Uh, when people have taken the time and it's taken time to get their credit repaired, and a debt collection pops up or debt collector calls, it makes that individual very susceptible to falling into the trap because they don't want to mess up their credit. They've worked hard to get it repaired, worked hard to make payments, they've done things the right way, and then all of a sudden something can come from their past. And even if it's something that they shouldn't have to pay, they might end up paying it because they don't want to go through the hassle of having to go through the credit repair process again. So debt collectors cannot, before I get started on this part, debt collectors cannot threaten they can't threaten to have you arrested. Debt collectors cannot say that there's someone who they're not. Like they can't say that they're the attorney for their company when they're not. Debt collectors cannot threaten to go and tell someone else about your debt, call your employer about your debt, stuff like that. They cannot do that. They cannot threaten to take legal action if they're not going to take legal action. So so dealing with debt collectors, you have a lot of rights, but you have to be aware of your rights. And if you're not aware of your rights, problems can happen. So let's go through them real quick. This one here is mixed credit card, $41.5 million, 2,900 in 62 accounts. Average charge-off date is 2007. Average balance $14,000 and $40.13. This is here. What I suspect on these here, they're going to either be personal loans or auto debt. Here's another one here, $28.6 million, 2,912 accounts. Average charge-off date 2005. $9,835 average balance. I'm thinking that those are auto loan or personal loans, or it could be some credit card debt also. And here's another batch, $78 million, 7,568 accounts. Average start date is 2007. $10,000 is the average balance. $34 million, 2,587 accounts. Average start date is 2005. $13,000 average balance. There's another group, $38 million, 1,748 accounts. Average start date is 2007. $21,000. These here have to be either car debt, or it could potentially be personal loans and second mortgages, is what I'm thinking with these. $361 million, 29,000 accounts, and it's 22. The millennium was when this was batched out, and it's $12,345.15 the average account balance. I mean, I can't believe that someone is buying them. Someone is buying this debt and taking the risk and trying to buy it. I mean, trying to collect on it. Another batch here, 274 million, 22,000 accounts. Average chart date is 2008, $12,000 average balance. Another one here, these are all big. $170 million, 17,000 accounts, 2001, $9,864.48 average account balance. Another group here, $92 million, over 10,000 accounts, charge-off date not shown, $8,958 average balance. Another one here, $10 million,
New visitor.
971 accounts, average charge-off date 2001. This is past statute of limitations for all 50 states. Another one here, 3.2 million, 2001 charge-off date, 1,800 accounts, 1,700 average payday loans or department store credit cards on those, what I'm thinking. Here's another group, $146 million, 136,483 accounts. Small balances, 2001. These are going to be charge-offs from either payday loans, department store credit cards, or lower balance credit cards. Another one here, 78 million, 14,968 accounts. Does not show charge-off date, $5,248.15 average balance, and the average balance. The next one here, 31 million, 56 1,613 accounts, does not show charge-off date, $559.56 average balance, thinking these are going to be payday loan or smaller department store cards. All right, I'm going to end the video here. Make sure that you like this video. Make sure that you become a subscriber to my channel. We got some very good content coming up. I'm always making you aware of what's going on in the debt collection community. No, I'm not a debt collector. Uh, and you do not have to pay debt collectors if they cannot prove that you owe the debt. You do not have to pay debt collectors if it's past the legal statute of limitations to collect, and I'm going to help you out with that. Make sure you comment, make sure you uh, ask your questions. I'll be on there in YouTube answering the questions. Okay, now, if you have a debt collector coming after you, as I stated earlier, they cannot make threats, they cannot pretend to be who they're not. They can't say that they're the lawyer for the company and they're a lawyer. They cannot say that they are a lawyer and they're not a lawyer. They cannot say that you can be arrested. They cannot use abusive language. And I want to make it clear what abusive language means. Abusive language doesn't mean that they're trying to cuss you out and all of that type of stuff. We already know that that's abusive. Abusive language is language like this. If they say that you're a deadbeat, if they say, why don't you want to pay your debts and make good on what you owe? They cannot say things like that. That is abusive. They must remain professional. It's strictly about the debt. They cannot threaten that they're going to take legal action if they don't take legal action. I know that that's a gray area. The way that I tell my clients, the way that we do it here, if they threaten to take legal action, you give them 30 days. If they don't take legal action, you can check with your clerk's office. Don't call them and say, did you take legal action? You check with your clerk's office, and if they haven't filed a lawsuit within 30 days of telling you that they're going to take legal action, you can submit that they have violated the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act by making that statement to you, and you can get the recordings of the call. They must record and maintain all the calls to remain compliant. So even if they try to say that they didn't get your call, when you know that if you can prove from your records that you did call, they will be out of compliance with everything that they're doing because they did not record that call when they're supposed to record all calls. So they can't try to back out of it. So I'm going to give you my 3 pack of letters that they're absolutely free below here. Uh, it's the first letter is a statute of limitations where you can see that all of this debt, uh, almost all of it, except we don't know the ones with the charge-off dates that they did not publish, is past the legal statute of limitations to collect. And so what you would need to do is just send them a notification that they're attempting to collect a debt that is past the legal statute of limitations. You don't have to do any debt validation when a debt is past the legal statute of limitations. Still to this day, people come to the channel and they get confused with that and they're wondering why is the debt collector still coming after them when the debt is past legal statute of limitations. And that's because you open up the door with doing a debt validation when you should not do a debt validation. You should only focus on the statute of limitations, making them stop and say that they're not going to come after you. Uh, the next thing, and the way you do that is you need to check the legal statute of limitations for collecting debt in your state. Go to my website, thecreditrepairshop.com, and we're just going to go there real quick while I'm talking. So every state has different statute of limitations laws, and if you go to my website, creditrepairshop.com, on my blog at the bottom, and then you type in statute of limitations, this page will come up, and you can see it's different for all states. In this column is going to be for written contracts, oral contracts, and this one's promissory notes, and then open end. Open end is like credit cards or types of accounts that you can charge, pay money, and then you can charge again. It's different for every state. If it's past legal statute of limitations to collect, then that's all you focus on. If it's not past legal statute of limitations to collect, some of these states have some long statute of limitations. You can see here Kentucky, one of the poorest states, had the worst statute of limitations. Illinois, you can see, and you can see here Rhode Island, you can see South Carolina have long statute of limitations. West Virginia, one of the poorest states, have highest statute of limitations for collecting debt. Give debt collectors a long time to try to catch up with you without getting a judgment. Judgment is 20 years, or some of these states are giving debt collectors
Returning visitor.
10 years and 15 years. So if it's not past legal statute of limitations, then you have a right under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act to always do a debt validation. You have that right. And if they do not respond to your debt validation within, they're supposed to respond within, well, put a notice that they got your debt validation within 5 days, and then they have to respond to you within 30 days. And they'll usually try to just send you the last statement that you had, but you have a right to get more information than that. You got privacy issues, balances, how did they come up with the claimed amount, all of this stuff. Don't worry about it. I'm going to give you that letter. That's also included in my 3-pack of letter, and I'll also give you a debt validation letter that you could use too. Links are below this video. Use them because you have to fight fast. You cannot wait. You need to fight fast against these debt collectors when you're dealing with them with these debts. All right. If you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, What Makes Us Different. I show you exactly how we repair credit. That's the way that we do it. If you need your credit reports and scores, go to the website your3scores.com. Links are below this video. I do have a t-shirt. Thank you to everyone who buys the t-shirt. I do appreciate that. The link is below here. You can get that. And I have other services. If you have debt collectors trying to sue you in court, I have a service for that. You can do it yourself program, or you can have us do it for you. Thank you for your time. This is Stephen A. Williams, President and founder of thecreditrepairshop.com.